Dinosaurs and trap tricks. I think that's enough that I need to say for this regional. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Wow, Springfield, Massachusetts out here. We really are in the middle of some of these weird places for regionals. Just kidding. It's a lot better than Utah. We have, for this regional, 2 Chimera decks. Really weird that Chimera feels like it's become the... Wait a minute. Looking at this top cut. You guys smell that, right? That's no Kashtira and... Yeah, that's right. That's the smell of no Kashtira in my top cut. Hey, it looks like the Chimera variant has kind of edged over the competition at this point in time, and I think that's a good thing. I wonder what else is going on with the rest of this top cut. I mean, we have no Kashtira. That automatically makes the event pretty interesting, right? We had 1 Purely Duelist. Okay, so Cat in the Hat still doing purely things at this point in time. Unchained, still doing Unchained things. I mean, what do you want me to tell you about every Unchained variant that we kind of ran into at this point in time? The decks all feel pretty strong at this point in time. There's a reason why it's, become one of the strongest contenders in the room. We also had Rescue Ace. Okay, well, that's actually pretty cool. I'm happy to see that. We also had 1 Dragon Link. Yeah, Dragon Link I'm cool with. The deck has been evolving at a pretty fast pace, and I've genuinely enjoyed seeing how it's doing its thing. Now, we have 2 oddities here. We have 1 Dinosaur, which we actually just saw Dinosaur perform out of the remote regional, and it was a little bit different of a method than we'd previously seen. It's more of a control aspect of things, and I'm kind of curious to see once we get into looking at these lists here, where we're sitting with the Dinosaur variant. And we also had a Trap Tricks Duelist perform. I think this is the first time that I've seen Trap Tricks perform in months. It's not to say that, you can't top 16, top 32 a regional with it. That is highly possible. But a top 8 finish is a little bit harder to achieve right now in the current meta. So let's pass on over to these deck lists. All right, the first list we're going to be looking at here is our Unchained variant. And wow, I see my old friend Book of Moon here, still doing very strong Book of Moon things. And of course, we are on the tour guide package. Now, to be completely honest with you here, I don't think we haven't seen a variant not playing Tour Guide. I think Tour Guide has become like the go-to at this point in time, because it's just you get a monster out of the deck, and then you automatically are turned into, Unchained Soul Lord of Yama here, which then just lets you add an Unchained monster for your deck or graveyard to your hand. Congratulations, you've set up a Link monster, you've started Essential or also, to be fair, you can also bring out, other methods of play. You got a couple of things that you can do in terms of your early setup, depending on how you actually open here. I mean, you also have, plenty of hand traps. Also, none of these builds have been playing more than 1 Abominable and Chainsaw. You're sticking around to 1 of this. If you're trying to maximize and pressure more of these, let's sort this a little bit more. Oh, no, the Pendulum Monster just stays down here in the middle. You're not trying to play more than 1 of these. Let's be honest here. I don't even know how to play this deck, and I can already tell you're not playing more than 1 of this. It's also been kind of nice to see that Deuce Machina down here has actually started to see a lot more play in these extra decks. I know a lot of people look at these decks and they're like, hey, I don't have to play the Deuce, it is what it is. It's been a pretty big addition. I know some of the earlier builds didn't play this, and a lot of builds, for whatever reason, just weren't playing Zeus. Like, obviously you make the Wave Kaiser King, you're like, all right, cool, I've set up my build, or I've done my job, we're good to go. Having this ensures that you have a multitude of other lines of play that you can kind of extend on out and be able to answer the opponent's monsters. And don't underestimate that. The diversity that you can have in a deck like this is what makes it cover its weaknesses beautifully. Next up here, we have, that is right, Dinosaurs. Now, our vanilla monster of choice is Frostosaurus. We did see in the remote duel regional that they were testing out the fire monster, which, I mean, once again, you kind of pick your poison at whatever point. It's like, hey, do you want, fire? Do you want water? The vanilla of choice, as long as it's got some decent stat points, are fine. I mean, you're just doing it for the cheese off chance that, you know, you can make the Gigantosaur here. I mean, let's be honest, a 3,800 attack point monster, it's already bigger than anything that Ultimate Conductor can put on the field. So, you know, you kind of take that for what you can get. Now, we are playing triple Book of Eclipse. The reason for typically the Book of Eclipse in something like this is you play this card right here. You see this? Your opponent has a full field set. But Robbie, what about Linkmon? Yeah, I don't care about a full field of links. I understand that I can't Book of Eclipse that. But if my opponent has set up, you know, a large amount of negates, you know, you can use this to bait something, or you can use the Dark Rule no more, and then Book of Eclipse them all down. Congratulations. Ultimate Conductor going chomp chomp, cleaning up the whole field. Your opponent has 0 recovery play. You win. It's that simple at the end of the day, and that's why you enjoy the combinations of the engines that you do kind of get with the board breaker cards. You know, clean up on aisle 9 at the end of the day. Outside of that, we're still on triple Lost World. Do not underestimate Lost World. I know a lot of people look at Lost World right now and like, oh, you know, this card is awful. Like, what's the point of this? Well, the whole point of this is, you know, it's the field spell. It turns the entire deck on. It is the pressuring points on the opponent. Alright, being able to get that destruction and hand the opponent the token turns off a lot of decks. This is kind of, you know, unless they have Birth and Kashtira, like, they have a token, so they can't special summon any of the Kashtira monsters unless it's through Birth. So, I'll take that. It's pretty strong. Next up here, we have some trap tricks. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you about this list is I do see Dimension Shifter here. This ensures that, well, you know, we've gotten to the point in the format now that everybody's playing Shifter. So you go ahead and you slam down the Shifter. Now your opponent's going to look at you and go, oh, well, thanks for cutting off access to my graveyard. What do you expect me to do at this point in time? And the answer is nothing. You've been successfully cut off. There's nothing that you can do. That's also why you follow things up with a Droll and Lockbird right now. I know Droll has been a major answer, or a major talking point right now in the community, because people are so upset about this. But when the format is as much searching as it is, if a rogue deck like Trap Tricks can come out of nowhere here and, you know, get the chance to play this and punish the opponent, I'm going to take that. And yes, we are playing triple Shade Brigandine with the triple Holtia. I know, once again, a few more people are going to be like, why are you maximizing on Shade Brigandine in this? This just kind of proves to you how important getting that first turn setup actually is. You want to make sure that you can deploy both of these and do your thing. And granted, I mean, a lot of people might not think that that's the most optimal method of going about things, but it is working out. And I know some builds of the past were playing one of this and citing the additional copy. You do have to understand that making sure to get the maximum value off of this is going to be a little bit harder. And it sucks because this card is a fantastic 2-of in the deck, but the way that the meta has evolved, you cannot really sustain playing 2 of it. You kind of have to I would rather dedicate the extra slot to the Shade Brigandine to ensure that we can set up and actually, you know, play the game. And of course, I mean, we're still playing triple Evenly in the main deck. Evenly is one of the best board breakers that you could ever actually hope to have, and this card just tears the opponent apart. It's amazing to me that people still underestimate how good this card is. And our last list out of this regional is some Dragon Link. Now, once again, Dragon Link's kind of doing the same thing that we've seen previously across the board here, where you can go ahead and Book of Eclipse down a whole field, and then you can kind of clean things up with these strong boss monsters that you have at your, you know, call. One other interesting thing is we've seen this Destructive Daruma Cannon starting to see a little bit more play down here in the side deck as well, because, you know, you can just thrust on into this, and congratulations, you have an auto answer for anything that your opponent's doing. Now, this is one of the builds that is not focusing on Gamma and the driver with the new Red Eyes monster that we recently got, where you can drop the driver out of the deck, and then congratulations, you're able to kind of continue playing around, you know, whatever your opponent has set up. I know that that's been a pretty cute tech choice as of late, but I think over the last over the last week, we kind of had a split between variations wanting to play it and other people choosing not to want to play it. So, for all intents and purposes right now, I think that Dragon Link is in a pretty good position. I think that the board-breaking capabilities of the deck are pretty good with this. I also love the fact that, 40 cards, nah, screw that. We're going to maximize the numbers. We want to make sure that we can slam down as much into the deck as possible and make sure that we can detour and crush the opponent. Outside of that, that is our breakdown for the Massachusetts Regional. And not a lot here, but the rogue decks are the big pieces today. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.